Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It was the Guineas last weekend, the 2000 1000 Guineas, and it led up some big prize winners. To be fair, I did tip up the winner of the 1000 Guineas, which was a great run by Mother Earth at 10-1, and a great ride by Frankie Tory. Members were so happy with that. It was a great win at 10-1. It was sort of an each way bet to nothing, as she had form over course at Newmarket and finished third last year in one of the main trials for the 1000 Guineas. So I didn't really understand why she was 10-1 for the race. I thought she was great each way bet. She was drifted all day on Sunday. So made a little bit nervous, obviously, because you like to see a bit of market support for it. But there was none really. But she went off 10-1 and yet best odds. So members were very happy with that. So if you are looking to sign up for all my daily tips and come across, and hopefully I hope to see you all time soon. So that was a great win in Mother Earth in 1000 Guineas for all my members. I also have noted up a couple of horses take out of the race in form line. So if you'd watched one of my previous videos, I did tip up Indigo Gal as one of the horses to follow for the season. So Mother Earth finished third at Newmarket last season in the trial and finished behind Pretty Gorgeous, who won the race, and Indigo Gal finished second. Now that form looks very strong. Indigo Gal was withdrawn from 1000 Guineas because the ground wasn't soft enough, and Pretty Gorgeous got injured, I think. So I think those two horses could be quite useful. I think Mother Earth beat all of her rivals in that race fair and square, and she's definitely a force to be reckoned with this season. So I do think Indigo Gale, I think she's going to go for the Oaks. I think that'll probably be her target now. So hopefully ground isn't too quick. But I think Pretty Gorgeous and Indigo Gale could be two exciting horses to sort of take out from the race since Mother Earth has won. So that was a fantastic win, 1000 Guineas. The 2000 Guineas was a bit different. Some outsiders sort of won it around 16-1 Poetic Flair. It was a great performance. There was three of them in the finish. Lucky Vega, Master Seed as well, finishing second and third. It was very tight. I'm not that excited by the form. To be fair, I don't think the horses going into race looked very closely matched. And it should be a very good race. It was a very good race, but a lot of the favourites underperformed. Master Seeds is the only sort of fancied horse that actually performed well. Wembley, Battleground went on favourite and came last. So don't know what to. Wembley didn't do anything. Mutasabek, my fancy for the race. He finished sixth, wasn't a bad run. As seeing it's only his third ever career run, it's hard for a horse with that little experience to win a Guineas. But he did run relatively well, and I think he can improve on that for the experience. Chindit ran well, finished fifth, or fourth, fifth, I think. He ran well around 6-14-1, something like that. There was just a lot of disappointing performances, I thought, in 2000 Guineas, and I'd be a little bit careful with that. The only horse I've taken out of the Guineas, and it's a horse I've been keen on all last season, and I think his main target throughout his whole career has been Derby at Epsom, and that is Van Gogh. So I mentioned Van Gogh in my uh, last video, the horses follow for the flat season. I tipped him up at around 20-1 for the Derby. He's now 10-1. He was 7-1 for the Guineas, but he's now 10-1 as he finished around 7th or 8th in the Guineas. But he wasn't fancy to do well. It was the ground was a little bit quick for him, I think. He wants further, I do believe, and I think for the Derby, I think the Derby's a perfect race for him. The 1.5 mile trip should be right up his street. I do think at 10, he's now 10-1 with he's around that sort of price for most of the betting firms for the Derby. I do think he's definitely worth a punt. As you rewatched the 2000 Guineas, he did stay on quite late in the last furlong, past beating horses. And he ran the sort of race where you think, yeah, that wasn't his main target. That was more of just not a fitness run, but more of just a stepping stone towards his main target, which I do think will be a Derby. And even though Hayden O'Brien has a couple of the favourites in high definition who they look hard to beat, I do think Van Gogh is definitely a horse that you could back each way. I do think he will run a really nice race in the Derby. So Van Gogh is the main horse I've taken out of the 2000 Guineas, which is a bit disappointing, but a lot of our horses underperformed in the race. I just think Van Gogh, he's the horse for the Derby, I do think. So he's my selection for that race. Now from the Newmarket meeting, I tipped up a couple of winners. So Ron Priestley, I tipped up. I've massively impressed with him. I was really impressed with his win on seasonal debut, beating Ocean Wind, who then subsequently finished second to Stradivarius at Ascot. The form looks really strong, and he won really well the other day, beating Pile Driver, who ran a good race. They pulled clear of the fields. It was only over a mile and a half, and I think he wants even further than that. I do think he's a well, he's a 1 mile 6. Should get 2 miles, I would have thought. I think he's the main horse who could challenge Shadowberry this year at Ascot if they went the Gold Cup route with him. I would love to see him turn up in a 2 mile race. He looks tough as anything. He finished second in St Ledger before he had a long layoff, which is very strong form. And he just looks a very strong 5-year-old. And I do think he's one of maybe him and Subjective is the only 2 horses that could actually beat Shadowberry this year. And both from Mark Johnston, so he might try and split them up. But I do think Sir Ron Priestley, very excited with him, definitely a horse to follow going forward. Also, I tipped up for my members. It came from the dark for Ed Walker's 5-furlong sprinter on Saturday. It wasn't a great ride by Holly, but you can forgive her. She has a very rare bad ride from her. She went for the wrong gap. I think would have won very cosily. I thought in the end, it only got beat right by on like a head, something like that, and by Las You Like. Came back at the line once it got a gap. Had to wait for ages. So came from the dark. He seems to be progressing quite a lot this season on his couple of runs. Needs a fast pace, 5 furlongs on good ground. Looks ideal for him. I do think he's a sprinter to follow. Ed Walker's definitely having a good patch at the minute, so he's definitely training to watch out for as well at the minute. But came from the dark. Not a great ride by Holly, but you can feel for that. And definitely a horse back next time if he gets good ground, 5 furlongs. So hopefully he'll get his luck next time. Also tipped up Parachute in the 450 on Sunday. It was a 3-runner race. It went off 3-1. It was against Echo Point, who was an odds-on favourite for Godolphin. He looks like it was his first try at the 1.5 mile trip, and it gave great front running ride by Marquand. As you guys know, I think Tom Marquand is top quality, and I think he's just unbelievable. He looked like he could be a decent horse to follow going forward, actually. I think he looks like he'd go through the handicaps at that sort of distance and maybe a little bit further. He looks like he has lots of stamina, and he just looks like a decent horse, and that's Ed Walker's as well. So I do think Parachute is a nice horse to follow. So I tipped him up for my members as well at 3-1. So Sunday was a fantastic day, having Mother Earth at 10-1 and Parachute at 3-1. So hopefully some of my members landed a couple of doubles in that on those 2 horses, which would have paid around 45-1, I think, something like that. Santa Barbara, just talking about that horse out of 1,000 guineas. She was all the rave for the guineas. She was apparently in like next coming, they thought. It was only her second ever run though, so it's quite tough to say the horse just wasn't she wasn't good enough today, but she was also a bit green. Like Newmarket is a very difficult track for newcomers. Well, she wasn't a newcomer, but for inexperienced horses to handle. You get the dip and you've got to come up that hill, and I think she got a little bit lost by herself. And I do think once she has a bit more time and some more experience, I think she could be a serious horse. I wouldn't give up on her yet. The best horse won in Mother Earth on the day, but I would expect more to come from Santa Barbara, of course, and definitely wouldn't give up on her yet. But anyway, so there were just the 2,000 guineas. So Mother Earth was a great tip at 10 to 1,000 guineas. So very excited about that. So hopefully you guys want to visit my website and come sign up. It's only £20 a month. So hopefully see you all sign up soon. Thanks for listening.